Namaste and welcome. Today we are reflecting on Chapter 3 of Gayatri Mahavigyan Part 1, where Gayatri is explained as Kamadhenu, the divine power that nourishes the inner life and transforms the seeker.
Namaste. It's truly a joy to be here to explore this with you today.
Yeah, I'm really excited. Because imagine possessing a legendary artifact that literally grants your every wish. Like a perfect body, endless wealth, total peace. Ancient texts say this exists not hidden away in some, mystical vault, but encoded in 24 syllables of sound.
Right.
But what if we've been reading the instruction manual entirely wrong this whole time?
That's a really profound question to start with, because when we look at this text, which was authored by the revered Pandit Shriram Sharma Acharya ji, we are invited to look far beyond the superficial layers, beyond what many people consider just a simple daily ritual. We're entering into a deeply spiritual, yet rigorously scientific understanding of inner transformation.
And to really grasp this, for you listening, we first need to look at this central metaphor that basically anchors everything we're going to discuss today. The Kamadhenu.
Yes, the Kamadhenu.
For those of you who might be familiar with the Puranas, the ancient Indian texts, Kamadhenu is often depicted quite literally, right? The stories describe a heavenly divine cow residing in the celestial realms with the gods.
That's the traditional story, yeah.
And her milk is said to be like nectar. And she has this miraculous ability to fulfill any desire of whoever possesses her. It's almost like the Kalpavriksha.
The wish-fulfilling tree.
Right, the mythological wish-fulfilling tree. You ask for gold, she gives you gold. You ask for a palace, she gives you a palace. But to truly understand the science of this text, we need to completely shift our perspective on this story, don't we?
We absolutely must, because that literal mythological interpretation, it's beautiful as a story, but it is just the colorful outer shell. It's protecting a much deeper, much more profound truth. If you approach Gayatri Sadhana, which is the dedicated practice of the Gayatri Mantra, expecting, gold coins to rain from your living room ceiling, you are going to be severely disappointed.
Oh, obviously. Right.
And worse, you completely miss the actual profound gift it offers.
Right, because it's not about superstition. It's not like pulling a lever on a cosmic slot machine and waiting for a jackpot.
Exactly. Kamadhenu is a powerful, very precise metaphor for a divine, nourishing inner power. It's an exact science of inner transformation.
Okay, an exact science.
Yes. Gayatri is the true Kamadhenu because it provides the exact spiritual nourishment required to elevate the human soul. It fulfills its ultimate true needs rather than just catering to the fleeting whims of the ego.
Right, the fleeting whims. Okay, let's unpack this idea of our ultimate needs.
Yeah.
Because before we can fully understand how this divine power nourishes us, it seems we have to look in the mirror.
We do.
We have to ask, why are we starving? Like, why do we need this nourishment in the first place? And the text spends a significant amount of time detailing the exact anatomy of human sorrow. It lays out the precise ailments that require this divine nectar.
Yes, the text is incredibly methodical here. It doesn't just, vaguely say that life is suffering.
Right.
It identifies the absolute root of all human misery, and it categorizes it into 3 fundamental causes. In the tradition, these are called the Trividuk, the 3 types of sorrow.
The Trividuk.
Yes. They are Agyan, which means ignorance, Ashakti, which translates to weakness, and Abhav, which means scarcity.
Ignorance, weakness, and scarcity.
Exactly. And the text argues that every single form of suffering you or anyone else experiences, from a minor frustration at work to a devastating life tragedy, can ultimately be traced back to one of these 3 sources.
I really want us to spend some time here in this deep dive because this shifts the blame from the outside world directly to our internal state. Let's start with the first one, Agyan, or ignorance.
Okay, Agyan.
Now, when we hear the word ignorance today, we usually think of someone who just hasn't read enough books, or maybe someone who doesn't know their geography. But the text frames this entirely differently, doesn't it?
Oh, completely. It's not a lack of factual data at all.
Right.
You could have 3 PhDs and still be suffering profoundly from Agyan. Ignorance in this context is a fundamentally distorted perspective on life itself.
A distorted perspective.
Yeah. It is the illusion that clouds our vision. It manifests as ego, selfishness, greed, and anger. Basically the qualities that make us act against our own higher duties.
And the text gives some incredibly poignant examples of how this distorted perspective plays out in daily life.
Yeah.
It talks about how we view the natural transitions of existence.
Yes, the natural transitions.
Think about it. Life is constant change. The death of a loved one, the parting of friends when someone moves away, the shifting of our financial or social circumstances. These are the basic, undeniable laws of the universe.
Seasons change, things decay, things are born.
Right. But ignorance makes us view these perfectly natural events as unnatural personal tragedies.
That is the absolute crux of the sorrow. We develop false expectations. We desperately want things to be permanent in a universe where the only constant is impermanence.
Yeah.
We wish for the impossible. We wish for our youth to never fade, for our bank accounts to only go up, for our loved ones to never age. And then, well, we cry when reality refuses to bend to our will.
It's like standing in a river and screaming at the water for flowing.
Precisely. That's a great way to put it. Agyan creates a state where we are constantly fighting the flow of existence. We become attached to things that are inherently fleeting.
And when they inevitably pass, as all things must, we experience profound agony.
Yes. And that agony is not caused by the event itself. It is caused by the friction between reality and our ignorant expectations.
That is deeply convicting. And it brings us to the second cause of misery, which is Ashakti, or weakness. The text is very thorough here.
Extremely thorough.
It's not just about physical frailty, like needing to lift heavier weights at the gym. This weakness spans the physical, mental, social, intellectual, and spiritual realms.
It is a comprehensive lack of capacity. The text paints a very stark, unforgiving picture of what happens when we lack this strength. Let's think about physical weakness first.
Okay.
Without health, even if someone places the most delicious banquet right in front of you, or if you have a beautiful partner, it brings absolutely no joy.
Right, because your body simply cannot process the pleasure.
Exactly. And it extends to the mind. If you lack intellectual strength, if you have mental Ashakti, someone could hand you the greatest literature ever written, the most profound philosophy.
And it would be completely meaningless to you.
You wouldn't be able to digest it. And without spiritual strength, even the concepts of devotion, peace, and universal love yield no inner bliss. You simply lack the internal hardware to experience them.
There is a very striking analogy used in the text regarding the unforgiving law of nature. It points out that cold winter weather is completely neutral.
Yes, completely neutral.
But look at how it affects different people. That cold weather will make a strong, healthy person feel hardier, invigorated, and energized. They might go for a brisk walk and feel alive.
Right.
But that exact same cold weather will give a weak person pneumonia or rheumatism.
That's a brilliant observation from the text. It's the exact same environment, the exact same temperature. The external world didn't change at all.
Right. The internal condition of the person determined whether the environment brought vitality or suffering.
Exactly. The text goes further, using the analogy of the animal kingdom. A helpless goat is easily preyed upon by beasts, shivering in the cold, constantly living in fear.
Oh, wow.
Meanwhile, a lion walks through that same jungle as its master. The natural world is harsh, and weakness inherently invites exploitation. If you are weak, whether mentally, socially, or spiritually, the world will wear you down.
Which sets up a perfect domino effect, leading to the third sorrow, Abhav, or scarcity. Because if you are ignorant and weak, you are inevitably going to experience lack.
Inevitably, yes.
This is the literal lack of physical necessities. We are talking about the lack of water, shelter, wealth, medicine, helpers, books, or teachers.
Yes. Abhav is the physical manifestation of limitation, and it is a profound source of sorrow. Even a highly capable, intelligent person will live a life of immense difficulty if they simply lack the resources.
Or the environment to apply their capabilities.
Right. Without resources, even a genius is paralyzed.
Okay, let me push back gently here, because I think this is where many of you listening might start feeling a disconnect.
Sure, go ahead.
We have identified these three sorrows: ignorance, weakness, and scarcity. Now, if someone is suffering deeply from Abhav, let's say they literally lack medicine to cure an illness, or they lack shelter and are out in the freezing cold.
Okay.
How does chanting a mantra fix that? If we say Gayatri is Kamadhenu and fulfills desires, but we just said it's not a magical wish-granting cow, how does a sound magically manifest a house or a bottle of pills?
Right.
It sounds dangerously close to the exact superstition we are trying to avoid.
That is the most crucial question we can ask, because if we don't resolve this, the whole philosophy basically collapses into magical thinking.
Exactly.
The answer lies in understanding the sequence of transformation. Gayatri does not drop houses from the sky. It does not magically teleport medicine into your hand. That is the mythological misunderstanding.
Okay, so what does it do?
Instead, Gayatri Sadhana systematically targets the first two sorrows, Agyan and Ashakti.
It targets ignorance and weakness first.
Yes. The divine power of Gayatri works internally. It removes Agyan, giving you the clarity, the wisdom, and the correct perspective to make better choices in your life.
So you stop making those foolish, ego-driven decisions.
Exactly. The ones that often lead to financial ruin or broken relationships. And simultaneously, it removes Ashakti. It fills you with physical vitality, mental fortitude, and intellectual sharpness.
I see. So when you are no longer ignorant, you are no longer weak, what happens? You naturally become a highly capable, focused, resilient, and intelligent human being.
You do.
And a person with clarity and strength naturally and organically resolves their own Abhav.
Precisely. It is an inner rewiring that changes your outer reality. You gain the energy and the intellect required to build your own shelter, to earn your own wealth, to secure your own medicine.
Wow.
It transforms the seeker into someone who can generate their own abundance. You are no longer the helpless goat in the winter storm. You have developed the strength of the lion.
That makes profound practical sense. The mantra isn't doing the work for you in the physical world. It is building the ultimate version of you so you can do the work.
Exactly.
But that leads to the next logical question, and honestly the one that boggles my mind the most. How?
How does a sound do all that?
Exactly. How does reciting a string of words, a mantra, rewire our internal biology and psychology to overcome these immense sorrows? I mean, I speak words all day long and I'm not enlightened. What is the actual mechanism?
To understand that, we have to look at the exact mechanics of sound. The ancient sages, they were not just philosophers, they were deep acoustic scientists.
Acoustic scientists.
Yes. They understood the science of sound and vibration, which the texts call Shabda Vigyan.
So we are moving from the philosophy of sorrow to the physics of vibration.
Yes. And here's the foundational principle. Sound is not trivial. In this tradition, sound Shabda Tattva is considered a direct physical manifestation of Brahma, the ultimate reality.
Right.
The entire universe, all of its activities, its creation, its maintenance, and its dissolution are managed by profound underlying sound vibrations.
The text gives some incredibly vivid physical examples to illustrate the sheer power of sound. It mentions how the simple song of a cuckoo bird naturally awakens very specific, tender emotions in the human heart.
Yes.
It's an acoustic wave that enters the ear and instantly triggers a biological and emotional response.
It alters our internal state without our permission. Our biology reacts to the frequency. But the text goes beyond just emotion to physical destruction.
Yeah, this part was wild.
It gives a very famous engineering example. When soldiers are marching in formation across an iron suspension bridge, they are strictly ordered to break their rhythmic step. Why?
Because of resonance. The synchronized vibration of hundreds of heavy boots hitting the ground at the exact same frequency can create an acoustic wave powerful enough to literally shatter the iron and collapse the bridge.
Exactly. That is the physical destructive power of rhythmic sound. It can tear apart solid metal.
Wow.
And if sound has that level of physical power, it obviously also has immense constructive and healing power. The chapter mentions an American doctor, Dr. Hutchinson, who gained significant fame for curing supposedly incurable diseases using varied sound frequencies.
Right. And in India, there is a long documented history of tantrics who cure ailments or even neutralize snake bites using highly specific sound waves.
Yes, the text explains that these mantras create electrical vibrations in the ether. It's almost like they are firing an acoustic sonar or using frequency medicine.
Oh, that's a great way to think of it.
The sound wave hits a specific target in the nervous system or the environment and returns to the source. We see this deeply embedded in classical Indian music as well.
Right, the Ragas.
Yes, the ancient ragas are not just pleasant melodies. They are essentially acoustic formulas. The text references the Deepak rag. When sung with absolute perfect precision, the specific frequencies produce micro vibrations that generate physical heat.
To the point where they can literally ignite lamps.
Yes. Or the Mem Malhar, a raga whose frequencies influence atmospheric pressure and can actually summon rain.
It sounds almost like magic until you realize it's just advanced physics.
Exactly.
The text even notes that snake charmers mesmerize serpents with the specific frequencies of a flute, and it's a proven agricultural observation that cows yield more milk when they are exposed to melodious, harmonious sounds.
The entire physical world responds to vibration. So when we apply this understanding to Gayatri Sadhana, we must stop thinking of it as just, saying a prayer.
Right. So for you listening, imagine your mind and your nervous system are like a vast, perfectly serene lake.
A lake. Okay.
Every ordinary spoken word you say or hear in a day, a complaint, a joke, A passing comment about the weather is like a random pebble dropped into that lake. It creates chaotic, overlapping, messy ripples. But a highly specific mantra like the Gayatri Mantra is not a random pebble.
No, it's not.
It is like dropping 24 perfectly timed, geometrically shaped stones into the water, creating a very specific, calculated, and powerful wave pattern across the entire surface of the lake.
I love that analogy. It perfectly captures the essence of Shabda Vigyan. The Gayatri Mantra is a precise acoustic formula. When you recite it, the specific placement of the tongue, the lips, the palate, and the throat strike against each other in a very calculated manner.
Okay.
This physical striking sends distinct electrical and acoustic vibrations down the nerve channels.
The text refers to these nerve channels as nadi tantu.
Nadi tantu, yes.
And this brings us to perhaps the most intricate and fascinating part of this entire deep dive. We've established that sound is a physical force, but a force needs an instrument to play upon. What is the instrument catching these acoustic waves?
That's where the ancient text turns its focus to our own subtle anatomy.
Right, our cell anatomy.
Yes, the human body is the ultimate receiver. Hidden deep within our subtle anatomy, connected to the central energetic channel known as the Sushumna, are 24 subtle glands, or energy centers, called Granthis.
Okay, I want to pause here to make sure we are crystal clear. When you say gland, we aren't talking about something a surgeon could easily dissect in a biology lab, like a thyroid or a lymph node, right?
Correct. While they definitely have physical correlates in the nervous and endocrine systems, these Granthis are better understood as subtle psycho-spiritual power centers.
Okay.
Think of them as complex intersections of nerve channels, where vital life force, or prana, pools together. They are nodes of potential energy.
And the incredible revelation of this chapter, the real secret of Kamadhenu, is that the Gayatri Mantra is composed of exactly 24 letters, or syllables.
Yes.
And each single letter is directly, specifically mapped to one of these 24 Granthises.
It is a one-to-one lock and key system.
There is an incredible visual in the text of a human body, completely covered in the 24 letters of the mantra, showing exactly where each vibration resonates.
Right.
When a specific syllable is pronounced, it travels down the nadi tantu and strikes its corresponding gland like a tuning fork.
Like a tuning fork, yes. And when that gland vibrates, it awakens a specific dormant energy or virtue within the seeker. This is the core engine of the inner transformation we have been discussing.
Wow.
This is how the weakness and ignorance are systematically dismantled. To truly understand the depth of the science, we have to look at what these 24 syllables actually awaken.
Yeah.
It takes time, but it is the blueprint of human perfection.
We absolutely have to walk through this. I don't want to rush this because this is the exact instruction manual we've been talking about. Let's start with the very first syllable of the mantra, tat.
Okay, tat. The acoustic wave of the syllable tat travels down the subtle channels and activates the gland called tapini.
Tapini, all right.
When the specific gland is stimulated by the vibration, it yields the virtue of success, or safalta.
But let's contextualize this. This isn't just success, like winning a board game or getting a lucky scratch-off ticket.
No, not at all.
When we connect this to overcoming the sorrow of Ashakti weakness and Abhav scarcity, this safalta is the fundamental internal drive to accomplish one's duties.
Exactly.
It's the energy to see a task through from beginning to end, bringing a sense of completion and victory to life's endeavors. It literally cures the habit of giving up.
Exactly. It is the energetic foundation of a capable person. Moving to the second syllable, sa.
Tat.
This acoustic strike activates the safalta gland. And interestingly, the stimulation of this gland yields the virtue of bravery, or paragram.
Bravery. So going back to our earlier analogy, this is what stops you from being the goat shivering in the cold.
Yes.
It's the courage to face the harsh realities of the world, to stand up for what is right, and to push through paralyzing fear. You can see how waking this up inside your nervous system would instantly combat the sorrow of weakness.
Precisely. You begin to walk like the lion.
Wow.
The third syllable is V. This frequency awakens the Vishwa gland. The awakening of this center brings forth the energy of nurturing, or palan.
Nurturing. The capacity to care for oneself and to care for others.
Yes.
A leader, a parent, a guide desperately needs this energy. It is the exact opposite of the selfish, ego-driven ignorance we discussed earlier. It expands your circle of concern.
And that naturally flows right into the fourth syllable, tur, which activates the tushti gland.
Tushti.
This yields the virtue of welfare, or kalyan. It is the deep-seated desire and the actual capability to bring about the collective good.
Yeah.
You move beyond your own ego to serve humanity.
So, just in those first four syllables, you are transformed from a fearful, selfish person into a brave, successful, nurturing force for good. That alone is life-changing.
It is.
But the mantra continues. The fifth syllable is va, which stimulates the Vardha gland. The text says this brings the state of yoga. Now, I'm assuming it doesn't mean the ability to touch your toes.
No.
Yoga here means union, right?
Yes, the truest definition of yoga. The perfect alignment and union of the mind, the body, and the spirit. It creates a state of unshakable inner balance.
Okay.
When the Vardha gland is awakened, you are no longer thrown off center by the ups and downs of life.
The sixth syllable is re, activating the Revati gland, which blossoms into love or prem.
Yes, prem.
And love is the ultimate antidote to agya, the ignorance that isolates us. True spiritual love sees the divine in everything, removing the friction, the anger, and the hostility we feel toward the outside world.
Beautifully said. When you have prem, you stop fighting the river.
The seventh syllable is ni, awakening the Sushumna gland. The result of this vibration is wealth, or dhan.
Right.
Wait, I need to jump in here. We just spent all this time clarifying that Gayatri isn't a wish-granting machine for money, but here it says the seventh syllable literally yields wealth. How do we reconcile this?
It is a brilliant point of clarification. The syllable doesn't manifest physical currency out of thin air. But by activating the Sushumna gland, the seeker develops the internal magnetism, the resourcefulness, the work ethic, and the ethical attraction to prosperity.
Oh, I see.
It eliminates the sorrow of Abhav, or scarcity, not by handing you money, but by turning you into the kind of highly capable person who naturally generates wealth honestly. It's the difference between giving a man a fish and teaching him to fish.
That makes total sense. The vibration builds the skill and the magnetism. The eighth syllable is yam, which stimulates the Gayana gland, yielding brilliance, or pej.
Yes, tej.
This isn't just being smart, this is radiant charisma. It's the sharpness and the glow of a purified intellect. People are naturally drawn to someone with awakened tej.
Exactly. The ninth syllable is bar, activating the Barga gland, which provides protection, or raksha. This creates an inner shield, an aura of resilience against negativity and destructive forces.
The 10th is go, awakening the Gomati gland, bringing deep intellect or buddhi.
I want to pause here too.
How is the intellect awakened by the Gomati gland different from just, having a good memory or reading a lot of encyclopedias?
Reading gives you data, that is memory. Buddhi, the intellect we are talking about here, is the capacity to discern. It is the processor, not the hard drive.
The processor, right.
When the acoustic wave of go resonates through the nervous system, it stimulates the subtle energy center that governs cognitive clarity. It clears the static so you can actually parse the data you have.
Oh.
A person with awakened buddhi can look at a complex, chaotic situation and instantly see the truth hidden beneath the noise.
It's like putting on glasses for the mind. It completely cures the distorted perspective of ignorance.
It does.
The 11th syllable is day, stimulating the Divika gland. The text says this yields subjugation, or daemon. Now, subjugation is a heavy word. We usually associate it with oppression.
In this context, it is the most liberating force possible. We are talking about the subjugation of one's own lower instincts. It is self-mastery, the ability to control your own senses, your addictions, and your base desires, rather than being controlled by them.
To be the master of the house, rather than the servant of your impulses.
Exactly.
The 12th syllable is va, activating the Varahi glands, resulting in dedication, or nishtha. This is unwavering loyalty to one's principles and spiritual path. It's the grit to keep going when the initial excitement fades.
The 13th is siya, awakening the Sangini gland, which yields focus, or dharana, the power to concentrate the mind like a laser beam on a single goal, completely immune to distractions.
The 14th is D, stimulating the dhyana gland, which brings prana, or vital life force.
Yes, prana.
This directly targets physical and mental weakness. It floods the entire biological and spiritual system with vitality. If you are exhausted by life, awakening this gland is like plugging into a power grid.
The 15th syllable is ma, activating the Maryada gland. This produces restraint, or sanyam, knowing one's boundaries, living a disciplined, balanced life, and not indulging in excess.
The 16th is high, awakening the sputa gland, leading to penance, or tap. This is the willingness to endure temporary discomfort for long-term spiritual and personal growth.
It's the ability to do the hard things.
Right. The 17th is D, stimulating the meta gland, which yields foresight, or Dordarshita.
Foresight, yeah.
Love this one. Imagine how much sorrow we avoid simply by having the vision to see the long-term consequences of our actions today. If you can see 5 steps ahead, you avoid the traps of Agyan.
It is profound practical wisdom. The 18th syllable is Yo, activating the Yogmaya gland, bringing awakening, or Jagruti.
Shaking off the slumber of ignorance.
Exactly, stepping out of autopilot and becoming vividly aware of reality in the present moment.
The 19th is another Yo, stimulating the Yogini gland, yielding production, or Utpadan. The creative power to build, to innovate, to bring new, useful, and beautiful things into existence.
The 20th is Na, awakening the Dharitra gland, which results in sweetness, or Sarasata, a gentle, harmonious disposition that makes one a joy to be around, smoothing out all social frictions and building deep relationships.
The 21st is Pra, stimulating the Prahava gland, bringing forth the ideal, or Adarsh, living as an exemplary model of integrity for others to follow.
The 22nd is Cho, activating the Ushma gland, which yields courage, or Sahas, the bold energy required to take righteous action even when it is wildly unpopular or difficult.
The 23rd is Da, awakening the Drusha gland, bringing discernment, or Vivek, the ultimate clarity to differentiate the eternal from the temporary, the true from the false.
And finally, the 24th syllable, Yat, stimulates the Naranjan gland, yielding the ultimate virtue of service, or savor.
Seva.
Yes, the selfless giving of oneself to the betterment of the world, recognizing that we are all fundamentally connected.
Just reflecting on that entire list. Success, bravery, love, intellect, foresight, courage, discernment, service, vitality.
It's incredible.
When you understand that these 24 precise vibrations are methodically traveling down the Nadi Tantu to strike the 24 inner glands to awaken these exact qualities, the idea of Gayatri as Kamadhenu makes total logical sense.
It ceases to be magic and becomes a highly advanced internal science. It is the systematic dismantling of our inner deficiencies.
Right.
If your nervous system is saturated with these 24 virtues, can you possibly be a victim of ignorance, weakness, or scarcity?
Yeah.
No. You have been turned into a capable, enlightened, and profoundly powerful human being.
But this brings up a very critical, perhaps skeptical question, and I think it's the elephant in the room.
Okay, let's hear it.
If this is purely a mechanical science of sound, acoustic vibrations, and nerve channels, couldn't we just automate it?
Automate it.
Yeah. Couldn't we build a machine or program a computer to broadcast the exact acoustic frequencies of the Gayatri Mantra 24 hours a day, 7 days a week?
I see where you're going with this.
I could just sit in a chair in front of a high-fidelity speaker, let the sound waves hit my glands, and achieve total enlightenment without lifting a finger. If it's just physics, why do I need to be involved?
And that exact question is where the purely materialist view of this science falls entirely short. A machine playing the mantra will indeed create physical sound waves.
Right.
But the spiritual mechanical process is completely dead without the soul's active participation. We are moving now into the crucial catalyst of this entire process, Shraddha, or deep, devout faith.
So faith is the missing ingredient.
Yeah.
The text is very clear on this. It quotes the great Sant Tulsidas from the Ramcharitmanas, who wrote, Bhavani Shankara Vande Shraddha Vishwas Rupanau.
Yes. Tulsidas compares faith and belief to Goddess Parvati and Lord Shiva themselves. Without them, there is no creation, no manifestation.
Wow.
Without Shraddha, the sound wave hits the gland, but the gland refuses to open.
The text provides historical examples to show that faith alone, even without the perfect external mechanics, can overcome seemingly impossible physical limitations. It spends time on the story of Eklavya.
Yes, Eklavya.
For those who don't know, Eklavya desperately wanted to learn the supreme science of archery, but he was rejected by the greatest teacher of the time, Dronacharya.
Eklavya had extreme Abhav. He lacked the resources, he lacked the teacher, he was entirely shut out of the system.
So what did he do? He built a simple, crude clay idol of Dronacharya in the forest. To anyone else, it was just mud. But Eklavya infused that mud with immense Shraddha. Through his deep, unwavering faith, his mind opened up and he drew vast, profound knowledge from that clay. He became a master archer, surpassing even Dronacharya's formal students.
It wasn't that the mud was magical, it was that his faith unlocked his own internal potential. And similarly, the text mentions Kabir, who received his deep wisdom from his guru, Ramanand, not through endless formal lectures or rigorous mechanical training, but purely through his deep, unshakable faith in their spiritual connection. The text even bridges this ancient concept with modern psychology.
It does, and it's a fascinating bridge. It mentions the principles of hypnotism and suggestibility. Modern psychology and medicine heavily recognize the placebo effect.
They do.
A patient's profound belief in a cure, or their deep psychological suggestibility to a trusted practitioner, is often what actually allows the mind to instruct the body's biology to heal. Belief alters physical reality.
So when we apply this to Gayatri Sadhana, we must see it as the perfect marriage of two profound sciences. On one hand, you have Shabda Vigyan, the science of sound, the precise physical striking of the 24 syllables.
And on the other hand,
you must have Atma Samban, the connection of the soul. They are two wings of the same bird.
right.
If you just mechanically repeat the mantra 100 times with a distracted, cynical, or greedy mind, it yields no profound benefit. It's just noise. The subtle channels remain blocked.
But when you infuse that exact sound with deep emotional Shraddha, the subtle electrical energy of the words is magnified exponentially.
Exactly.
I go back to our radio analogy. The sound wave is the tuning dial, but faith is the electricity that actually powers the radio. Without faith, you can turn the dial all you want, but you won't hear any music.
That is exactly right. Faith makes the nadi tantu, the nerve channels, highly receptive. It makes the Granthis willing to awaken. Without it, the glands remain closed off like tight buds refusing to bloom no matter how much acoustic sunlight hits them.
Which leads us to the final major theme of this chapter, and it deals with how we actually approach the practice.
Yeah.
Let's say you have the pronunciation right, the mechanics are solid, and you have cultivated deep, genuine faith.
Okay.
If Gayatri is indeed Kamadhenu, nourishing us and fulfilling our deep inner needs, shouldn't we sit down to our meditation with a shopping list of the things we want?
Your shopping list.
Like, please give me a promotion, heal my back pain, and help me buy a new car.
It is a very natural human instinct to want to use a powerful tool for immediate comfort. We want to fix the symptoms of our lives. But the text introduces the highest, most profound form of this practice, Nishkam Sadhana.
Nishkam Sadhana.
This means selfless practice performed with absolute devotion, but without a burning desire for specific material fruits.
Wait, I'm struggling to understand the logic here. Doesn't that defeat the purpose of Kamadhenu? If she is the metaphor for the wish-fulfilling cow, and you sit down and do Nishkam Sadhana without asking for anything, aren't you just missing out on the fruits of the practice?
I know, it sounds counterintuitive.
It sounds like going to a restaurant, looking at the menu, and then just ordering a glass of water.
It seems like a paradox, I know. It is actually the ultimate secret of the science. People who perform selfless sadhana are not missing out on the fruits. Rather, the very nature of their desires becomes purified.
Purified.
How? Think about it. When we ask for things, we ask from a place of Agyan, from ignorance. We ask for what our ego thinks will make us happy.
And usually those things end up causing us more anxiety.
Exactly. When you practice without a selfish shopping list, you open yourself up to what the universe knows you actually need, rather than what your ignorant ego thinks it wants.
Oh, wow.
True Nishkam Sadhana leads to the ultimate spiritual proximity to the divine, which the texts call Sayuja and Samipya. You don't just get temporary gifts from the divine, you merge with the divine nature itself. You become the source.
Bringing back our radio receiver analogy one last time, because the text touches on this concept beautifully. Think of how a radio actually works.
Sure.
The air around us in this very room is completely filled with invisible waves carrying music, news, and voices from all over the world. But you can't hear them unless you tune your internal radio receiver to the exact right frequency.
Yes. Gayatri Sadhana is the disciplined act of tuning our internal radio. By practicing with faith and selflessness, we create a subtle, powerful relationship with the invisible divine world. We tune into the cosmic frequencies of courage, wisdom, intellect, and peace, capturing those energies and transferring them directly into our own nervous system.
And this is why we must respectfully acknowledge the incredible mission of Pandit Shriram Sharma Acharya ji and the Gayatri Parivar.
Absolutely.
Acharya ji worked tirelessly to demystify this entire process. For centuries, this was locked away. But he presented Gayatri not as some secret exclusive cult meant only for a few ascetics hiding in a Himalayan cave. He presented it as a universal, exact science available to any human being willing to do the work.
But we must be clear about what the work is.
Right.
The work isn't just chanting words for 20 minutes a day. The work is the relentless purification of the inner instruments.
The inner instrument.
It is purifying the mind, the intellect, the chitta, which is our deep storehouse of memories and subconscious impressions, and the ahankar, our ego. You have to actively clean the radio receiver if you want to pick up the divine broadcast without static.
The static is the Agyan, Ashakti, and Abhav. The ignorance, the weakness, the scarcity. Gayatri is the divine acoustic power that clears the static, repairs the broken circuits of our nervous system, and allows the divine music to play loudly and clearly through every single action of our lives.
Precisely. It is a complete holistic system of human elevation.
We have covered such immense ground today in this deep dive, from the very roots of our deepest sorrows to the incredible physics of sound and resonance.
Yes.
Down into the subtle anatomy of our 24 inner glands, and finally to the transformative catalytic power of faith and selfless practice.
It's been quite a journey.
For you listening, true nourishment, the real milk of Kamadhenu, isn't about the universe simply handing you what you want on a silver platter.
Yeah.
It's about the universe transforming you into someone who is entirely capable of generating your own light, your own strength, and your own boundless abundance.
Exactly.
You stop being the weak goat shivering in the cold winter storm. Through the exact science of Gayatri, you become a master of your inner world, and therefore, a master of your destiny. Before we go, I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over.
Please do.
We talked so much about the 24 syllables tuning our inner radio to catch divine frequencies. But remember, a radio can also transmit. If your thoughts, your words, and your everyday actions are the broadcasts you're sending back out into the world every single day, what frequency is the universe picking up from you? Think about that.
That is a wonderful thought to end on. Chapter 3 reminds us that Gayatri becomes Kamadhenu when the seeker practices with Shraddha, purity, discipline, and service. May Gayatri Mata bless everyone with wisdom, light, courage, and compassion. Jai Gayatri Mata.